Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? Looks like YouTube Live is working today. It did not work for me yesterday, so we will keep our fingers crossed. Well, it is Friday, and if you know the drill, what 5 out of the last 6 Fridays during this discussion, I was kind of nervous about Friday because again, I just don't think a lot of the quote unquote traders want to be long into the weekend. We have seen some weekends have more meaningful news, typically negative, given the cycle we were in, than others. And I think that continues. I think Fridays are generally going to be down days for the foreseeable future, as long as the traders are in charge. So that is something I feel about today. We survived the first week, right? I've been telling you now for the better part of 10 or 15 days that I've been looking for these 2 weeks to be kind of, hopefully, knock on wood, the peak of bad news. Some are misunderstanding what I'm trying to say here. I'm not trying to call a bottom in stocks. I do think stocks go lower as the depth of Q2 drop is not, I don't think, appreciated yet. What I'm trying to call is the depth of despair for consumers. And I think that has a good chance of being next week. It could bleed into the following week, but it could be next week because we finally got, well, the House should prove unanimously today. Should. Will they? I hope so. I hope it's 546 to 0 or 486 or whatever the numbers are. And there's not a single person who comes out against this $2.2 trillion bill because we need it. We frankly needed it Monday. If we get it Friday, so be it. But this bill is the first W that I told you we had to have. Again, this is unimaginable what's going on, but the chessboard doesn't have a lot of pieces on it, so it's pretty easy to see, at least in my opinion, what's happening. We have asked, right? We, the government, has asked 30 to 40% of our service-based economy to stay home. We have taken away, I don't know, most of the demand. Sure, there's still some drive-through and pickup stuff going on. Retail is shut down. So that means a lot of, employees were furloughed or let go. So we're fixing that, right? Were we fixing it fast enough? I guess no, but are we fixing as fast as we can? Yes. I thoroughly believe everybody is working 24/7 to take care of the folks that we've asked to stay home. And it's important for everyone to understand. I think they did really three beautiful things that we will look back on as a huge, huge Band-Aid. First and foremost, they are sending checks out to everyone, whether you're employed or not. There are some kind of income thresholds. Totally get it. Fair enough. But most importantly, they have turbocharged unemployment. I think what I read is they've increased it up to $600 on top of what they initially had. So there will be lots of people, I don't know what the percentage is, but there will be lots of people that collect more money in April than they normally would in their job. This is important because we have a moment in time where we could strike a death blow to this health event. I've said many times that we need to call a national holiday, a spring break, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. Market it to your heart's content. Call it the 2020, whatever. But let's shut it down for April. Stop flights, stop trains. Everybody stay home. It should be obvious now when you are arrogant and ignore it. Bad stuff happens. New Orleans went ahead and had Mardi Gras. Terrible things going on there. Florida had spring break. Terrible things going on there. Kids, people under 40 are getting it and dying in the U.S. Like we haven't seen elsewhere. So this myth that if you're young and healthy, don't worry, not true. So let's just call it. Let's let everybody get some money in April. Many people, not all, but many people will collect more money in April than they do at their job. And let's ask them to stay home, stay in place. So I think we have a unique opportunity. Otherwise, if we let it go on too long, we got to send people checks again and then do it in May. I think we are. I think all you have to do is look at the United States map and realize that it hit the coast first, right? Seattle, San Francisco, New York, and now it's clearly moving inland. It's obvious when you look at the map day after day. So it is coming to the entire U.S. Let's do what we can so we can open quickly. I am a firm believer that we should open the economy as fast as we can. But to do that, we've got to stop this thing from spreading. We've got to get to peak infections. We've got to work on some kind of treatment or vaccine. I mean, all those things have to happen. But if we just allow states and cities to do it on their own, it's just going to take longer than it should. And that's not okay. So I would like us to see us shut down for April. That would mean that we here in the Bay Area are down for like 6 or 7 weeks. I think we're in week 2. Man, you get kind of stir crazy. I can only imagine what it must be like for folks that have kids at home, right? Young kids who are full of energy and trying to do your work from home job. I feel for you. It's got to be tough. Some things that I'm starting to ask myself, just because I want the mental exercise, is what does our economy look like post this event? July, August, October, whatever it is. I think there will be some incredible new businesses and industries created. I also think there will be some old legacy giants that are gone. I think we will see record bankruptcies this year. These were probably companies that were limping along because they could, not because they should. I think this event is going to take them out, which will be terrible, but that's what bankruptcy law is for. So that would be interesting to see. But most importantly, I'm looking forward to the entrepreneur. Recessions are great times to create businesses. Just off the top of my head, both Uber and Lyft were created during the last recession. So I'm looking forward to what happens. It's probably going to be a combination of entertainment and restaurants, right? There's just an opportunity to do that model different. You and I have become used to, hey, go to a restaurant, sit down, there's 20 tables, you order, you eat, you pay, you leave. Maybe now there'll be 10 tables and there'll be some kind of entertainment or some other stuff that has you stay there 2 hours versus hours, and you got to pay a table fee. And I don't know, there's just some things that are going to come from this that I think are pretty cool. Lululemon's earnings came out, and what I listened for, or actually read, was what's going on in China. One of the things we should be seeing now from these international companies is we've got to double check the China data, right? We've heard from the country, we've heard from their leaders, but all of us, most of us, probably don't believe most that comes out. But when you start to hear companies like Starbucks, and then you hear Lululemon, and then you hear others say, yeah, it is coming back, and we are seeing store openings, we are seeing these things. Those are really cool things, the green shoots, if you will. But realize China did what we talked about earlier, right? They shut the country down for a month, non-essentials and all of that. So it's proof that works. I'm also very encouraged by the ramp in testing in the U.S. I believe we've tested more people than any other country, which is awesome. I think we've all known for a long time that there are more cases here than we had reported. Now we're seeing the uptick, which we should have all expected. But again, that's good news, right? That's going to be the peak of next week's bad news, right? I've been calling for 2 weeks of negative news that kind of smacks us. I'm hoping next week we see the peak in the curve. We have maximum stress in New York. We have the peak in the Bay Area in California. Hopefully New Orleans is peaking. Hopefully they can get a hold of Miami. But yeah, I think it's proof that the lockdown works. So let's repeat it. As uncomfortable as it is, we're already sending record amounts of money out to the citizens. So let's do that. I think it's clear that small business has changed forever. I know this $2.2 trillion bill has a lot in it for small businesses. It's it's just hard to pull it all together, right? If you're a small business with less than 500 employees, there's plenty of rules and red tapes, and you're not sure, and what do you do? So I mean, it's got to be tough. Something to watch is oil. Oil is last I checked 22 or 23. There are some pretty big calls out that if oil goes below 20, that most of the U.S., if not all of the U.S. kind of creators, will be in big trouble. So that is something to watch. This Russia Saudi Arabia spat doesn't seem to be letting up, and we've got to watch that. And then lastly, I'm getting lots of communications, some text and comments about dividend stocks. Almost every day somebody sends me a different dividend stock yielding 5, 6, 10, 12. I think I got one yesterday at 20%. Again, not a stock market investor, but if it's too good to be true, probably is. Historically speaking, it's not out of the realm of possibility that people have to cut their dividend, or even I heard one company today say they might not be able to pay their dividend, which means they don't have the cash to do it. So pretty scary times. I think the too good to be true rule could certainly apply to dividend stocks today. And then one of the things that is certainly becoming a repetition in every earnings call that I have been a part of or listened to or read is they're not dropping forward-looking estimates. They're actually just not doing them, which is interesting, but not to be unexpected, right? Nobody's holding their feet to the fire to call this year. That will change eventually, right? Eventually, we want the people that are we have little slivers of with these stocks to sort of call the future. That's what we rely on to make good business decisions and investment decisions. But now, instead of lowering estimates, which everyone would do, they're just going, hey, we don't know what's going on. We're going to withdraw estimates. We'll get back to you later. Very dot-com-ish experience. I saw that a lot in tech back in 2000, 2001. So not to be expected. So in the end, it's Friday. Very happy that the New York Stock Exchange, who went electronic Monday, seemingly went off without a hitch. Awesome. Builds confidence that we have access and we can see what's going on. So very cool. Congrats to everyone out there that did it. Shout out to our healthcare frontline workers, grocery clerks, truckers, all the unsung heroes that are working their butts off, many of them putting their lives on the lines for us, not seeing their families as much. We have a lot of this economy that is shut down, but we also have 10, 15% of it working overtime for the rest of us. So if you get a chance to help them, say thank you, send a heartfelt, I don't know, whatever. Do whatever you can to help them. Many of them are struggling. I just couldn't imagine being on the front lines of this. So do yourself a favor, stay home, learn something, entertain yourself. We're essentially being asked to stay home and sit on our couch. Let's do that. And let's see what this weekend has. And if you're one of my students watching this, don't forget we do that Facebook Live in our group at 8 o'clock Pacific. So we'll be doing that in about 20 minutes. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. Take care.